Today, we're going to take another look at a WordPress plugin called Directorist. Basically, this is a tool that allows you to create your own directory services on WordPress. Today, we have a demo site we're going to look at for legal purposes. I kind of want to show you just what some of the ideas are that you could use with Directorist. There's far more than just legal services, but I want to give you a little bit of a tour of this demo site, and we'll take a look behind the scenes too. Hi, my name is William Beam with Suburbia Press. I am a small business person like you. And one of my sites is a local site where I think a directory service could actually come in handy for a lot of things. But the idea is, what kind of directories can you provide? With Directorist, you can do it anything. You can do an internal company directory. You could do a search for a specific type of field. In this case, we're going to look at legal services. You can do locations, you could do restaurants. But the idea is that once you pick your focus, you can really narrow down and work on your market and provide information about the products or services or locations that you need. So let's go ahead and take a look at the site. All right, I'm on a demo site, and this is for legal services. So you can see there's a nice header image over here, and it basically asks, what are you looking for? So you could look for locations, you could look for categories, and within legal services, there are a number of different types. So do you need criminal law? Do you need family law, immigration? One of the things that I would probably be looking for that we don't have here, but if you could add that to your list, would be intellectual property law. So I do trademarks and copyright work with my field, and that's something that could be helpful, and that might fall under business law, so or even government law. So let's try that. And the location, in my case, it doesn't really matter so much, but I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick search. You can see there's a filter over here. So if you want to check this down as far as like pricing information, if you want to look for certain reviews, and then you can do tags for different types of law, which we've already looked at. And also there's a button here for, are they open now or not? So I'm going to dismiss this, and let's just do a search. And you can see for government law, we found two over here. And notice these little tags up at the top. You can tell if they're popular or if they're featured. So if you're running a business and you want to show your users who's popular or what results are popular, or if you want to feature certain businesses, you have that option right over here. And of course, for the customer, you can see where they've got an option with a little heart that they can save their favorites. Now, what do you get out of this? You can see that there are reviews, only one review in this case. And then there's contact information, and you can see, is it open now or is it closed now? So you can also use this to kind of change the way the display works. Do you want to see it in a list view, or do you want to see it in what we started off with kind of this card view? So that's just what your users can experience. You can also come over here to your listings. Do you want to add a listing? There's an option over here. You want to see all listings. Are you looking for listings with a map? Let's try that one just to see if there's any data here. And you can see there's the map right over here, or depending on who you selected. And you get a lot more information. You can embed all sorts of things. So if there's a video that goes with them, you can see that where the location is and just kind of narrow down on that. And then there are no reviews, but there's an opportunity here for your guests to leave a review as well. You can see the featured listings over here. You can add business hours if it makes sense for your listing. And then you can also look for appointments. So if they have time slots that are available, you can choose one of those and set this up for yourself. Again, we came over to categories, and we were talking about, is it banking law, business law? What you're finding out is on the home page, there is a directory based upon the categories. But once you get into this, or your user gets into this, then you can add categories or locations, or even different pages up to the menu over here to make it easy for your visitors and guests to come in and find what they're looking for. As we said, this is specifically for legal. You can build a directory listing for anything that you can imagine. If you've got more than one of them, you can build up a directory for it. If you want to add a listing, you can make this available to your guests. They click on that, and then you can start choosing packages for people who want to add listings. And this is something that you can sell listings on your site. So in this case, it's for legal. And how much do you charge them per year to create a listing on your site? As your directory listing becomes more popular, businesses may want to get themselves listed on there because it's in their own best interest. And then you can charge them on what package that you provide. So for example, you can see where there's basic, standard, and enterprise. And notice that these little red X's, so for the standard package, you get some things on enterprise that you don't get on the standard package. And this is configurable that you can go ahead and decide who gets what based upon the payment plan that they have. And these prices are recommendations for the demo. Depending on how successful your site is or how it grows, you might be able to raise this to a higher level because people and businesses want to be found and discovered. So as your popularity grows on your site, you can charge more for businesses to list themselves on your site. And it's going to vary depending upon the type of business that you're listing as a category, as to what they need, how much their budget is to spend on it, and what you're able to offer. Some of these things may not help at all. So for example, if you're talking about an online system where there's no physical address, then there's no need to charge for location address, maps, and so forth. But again, those things are configurable and you can decide what makes sense. So we've done the search over here. Notice we also said you can filter by category. I mean, you can see that we have different listings over here. And then this is where you have your popular or featured listings. So there's popular, which means more people are checking these out and perhaps choosing these businesses. And featured is something that you as a site owner can basically promote on side of your listings. And that featured might be something that you sell. In other words, do you want to be featured in our category or directory listing? Then they pay for that as well. So that could be something that's in the enterprise version rather than just the standard version. So that is something of value to a business that they're featured. People don't have to go wading through and find them, and then they can go over here and you can add them as featured. But you may also want to make it a requirement that if you're going to be featured, you have to have a review rating of a certain level, because why would you want to feature somebody in case they aren't reviewed very well by guests that have come along? Also, you can search by location. So you notice that we have a number of cities over here, and some don't have listings in this one, some do. And Rome has a couple of listings. And remember, this is a demo site, but you can change this to any type of concept or topic that you want to create for your listing. So let's take a look at the back end. Okay, so you can see that we are in directory listings. We're showing all listings. And it's just like the typical WordPress interface. You've got a name, location, categories. So you can see these categories for business law, injury law. If I wanted something for intellectual property, I could go ahead and add a new listing. And it is just like creating a WordPress post or page. So you have your title here. You can add media. You've got paragraph information. And then there are specific fields for your listing. You've got your price information down here. And then you can determine your business hours and days of the week that they're open. You can choose the time zone. And do you want to be available for appointments? So you can check if you want to hide appointments. Do you want to enable payments? And you can choose a time slot or a time picker or display whatever is available. So there's a lot of options over here that you can put in, even, basic personal information, contact information, which depending upon what you're listing, you may need to be able to provide contact information for someone to get a hold of them. And of course, there's a map listing for wherever you're going to be. So as we come in here, we might want to do, there you go, one infinite loop. And that is the Apple campus, at least the old one. You can see it's right there. So all you need to do is put in your address information here after you have the map set up. And I have another video on how to set up the maps, and you can see that one up here. But once you've got that configured, you don't have to do any serious cartography. All you need to do is have an address, put it in there, and then you can have the map show up. And if you want to, you can do the cartography. So down here is a checkbox to enter the coordinates, because maybe you're doing a directory of something that is outside of a common listing. So this is legal. You would expect that there would be a street address. My wife does trail running. She does these ultra marathons, and some of those don't have an address. You're running through hills, mountains, rivers. Yeah, they cross rivers. I don't get it because I don't run that way. I've got a car. I can drive where I want to go. But they need coordinates because maybe you're dropping them off someplace where there isn't a street. You're just going down a cow path to get to the starting place. And if you don't want a map, you can hide that as well. So there's just a lot of things. Here's where you can put in your video, and these are optional. And then you can determine who is the author of this. So you can see that we've got a couple of demo things down here for the author of the page. Now, let's go back up to the top, and you can select a plan. So this is where we were talking about the payment plans. And then you can also say, when did this go up? The same as you typically would for a WordPress post. And then you can choose your location, and you can see all locations. You can just click over here to see your most used locations. And then of course you have your categories. So if you need to add another category, for example, I mentioned intellectual property law, then you could add that over here. And then of course, tags are just basically metadata that help describe what this is about. So you can see on the back end, it is very complete as far as how you can create a listing, but it's also very easy to understand and put in what you need to do for a specific category for whatever your directory service is going to be. If we click over here on pricing plans, we mentioned that there were enterprise, standard, and basic. Keep in mind, we can edit this, and these prices are just basically for a demo, but you can choose your plan type. So you can pay per listing, or you can have a package that offers you multiple things. Then of course you can choose what the price is, if there's going to be a tax rate, or if you're going to allow people to update things for free. And then you can put a description of the plan over here, how long it lasts. So in this case, people can put their listing in there for that price for 1 year. And you can make it where it never expires. Maybe they only pay you one time to be on the listing. And if you see that we've got a lot to scroll down, you can see that they get 80 listings for this, a number of featured images, and then you've got all these yes, no buttons over here to choose details about your plan. So claim badge included, and then you can put this on there or not. So booking, live chat, if it has that, and you can get a notice here that it requires some kind of a live chat extension. If something's sold, you can mark it. If you want to exclude categories, you can. But look at all of this stuff as far as whether you want to show it or not. It is very complete, and this is all something that you can configure for your own directory listing. As I said, this is a demo, and this is something that you can build. We'll take a look in another video of the directory builder. You can see it just right up here. So you've got a lot of options, and in order to put this out, you see here, you just take this short code, and you can put it on a page, and it will build out the page for you. And you can also take this and put it inside of PHP code or a template file and use it this way if that works for you. Maybe you need to put it on a different site. Shortcodes will work with WordPress. This is something that perhaps you can put this on a different site if you need to use that kind of code. And that is all I wanted to show you today. This is just one demo, but I wanted to give you an idea of how Directorist works, both on the front end for your visitor and on the back end to determine how you're going to build it. We'll do more videos. We'll take a look at the directory builder and give you some more information, but this is kind of what, and in the future, we'll take a look at how. If you are interested in Directorist, I'll have a link in the description below, and I'll also put it up here on the screen, here or here. I always forget which side. This is a very intriguing and well-built plugin. So if you're in the kind of position where you want to build something, whether it's for an internal site or a customer-facing external site, it works very well. Please go ahead, click the like button if this was helpful to you. Also, subscribe. We'll get more information for small business people. And click the little bell notification icon so you'll be notified the next time a video comes out. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next video.